The story kicks off with Arata Nakayama, a first-year high school student, starting his morning by disinfecting his desk. He's super meticulous about it and quickly gets everything cleaned up. Before long, some of his classmates show up, laughing and joking around. One of them casually places a hand on Nakayama's freshly wiped surface, and he can't help but feel grossed out. He just cleaned that. The classmate notices his reaction and immediately apologizes. He disinfects the spot again like he's some kind of germaphobe. That makes the guy wonder if he really is that messy. In his nice, tidy space, Nakayama usually enjoys the peace and quiet, sticking to his routine without letting anyone mess it up. But then, out of nowhere, a pile of clothes gets flung onto him. When he turns to see who did it, it's a girl who quickly says sorry for the accident. She mentions that these are her clothes right after she wore them. When he hears that, he thinks it's pretty gross, especially since her socks are in the mix too. She tries to explain that they're just high school girl socks and that it should be like a good luck charm for him. But he just can't shake off the feeling that they're a total biohazard. She flirts a little and apologizes again, but he still feels super weirded out. She notices and tells him not to give her that look. By the way, she's Tamaki Nishino and has been sitting next to him since this June. She's always being loud and messy. She's on a mission to find the other sock and even starts thinking someone must have stolen it. Meanwhile, he's just thinking he wouldn't even take it if someone paid him. She's super chill, and he thinks she's the kind of person he'd rather steer clear of. Then she calls out to him and offers some snacks. He just brushes off her offer, saying it'll get his hands dirty. She asks how he's even planning to eat them, and he says he might use chopsticks. She realizes if he's not gonna eat, that just means more for her. He gets annoyed and tells her to keep it tidy. Just as she digs in, she starts dropping crumbs everywhere, and he's totally grossed out, so he starts cleaning up again. She calls him a clean freak, and he feels all this frustration bubbling up because he thinks the world is just too dirty. Meanwhile, she's starting to wonder if he's looking at her like she's the dirty thing. He's pretty sure he's not forcing anyone to change. He just wants her to eat what she likes without messing up his space. She's on board with that. She decides to skip the messy snacks, but he doesn't push her too hard. Instead, she grabs an umebo stick and starts munching away like there's no tomorrow. He's not a fan of that and tells her to cut it out, which just makes a bigger mess. She insists she'll be careful. Then he goes and peels off some tape, marking a line down the middle of his desk. He tells her to stick to her side since he won't put up with a single crumb on his. That has her wondering if he's some kind of dictator. She decides she won't make a mess and asks him if he's happy. He thinks she could have just done that from the beginning. While munching on her snacks, she tries to grab his attention completely. He gives her quick side glances. She's staying relaxed. Meanwhile, he just wants her to eat quietly because he believes in setting boundaries. He feels like some things can't be solved by just talking it out since what's clean and messy is really up to personal opinion. So he opts not to get involved and thinks there's no need to try to understand each other. Keeping a respectful distance feels like the best way to handle it to him. Things get even crazier when she pops open a bag of chips like it's nothing. Chips go flying everywhere, and she's totally taken aback by the mess she's made. He stands up, looking all frustrated like this is the last straw. She quickly says sorry, but he's really annoyed and tells her to stay on her side. Then he goes into full-on cleanup mode, acting like a perfectionist. Nishino can't help but think that the place looks even cleaner than before. Meanwhile, our guy is super irritated with how he ended up in this mess. He seriously thinks he needs to switch seats. But when he glances over, he spots a backpack with one lonely chip still hanging out there. He picks it up and tells her she missed, but she thinks it looks like he did instead. She tells him to go on and enjoy it. He's not interested, and she thinks it would just go to waste, so she decides she'll eat it. He tells her to go for it since he wants to clean his hands. Next thing you know, he's feeding her with his hand. As she's munching, she starts sucking on his fingers too. When he notices, he quickly pulls back, feeling grossed out. But she's loving it and thinks it tastes amazing. Meanwhile, he can't shake off that icky feeling on his hands. Out of nowhere, he just collapses onto the desk, leaving everyone in class shocked. Right then, Sensei shows up, saying homeroom is about to kick off. Nishino spills the beans that Nakayama went down because of the potato chips. He jumps back up but feels even worse, stuck with this greasy mess all over his desk and clothes. It's the worst. Plus, the memory of his fingers getting eaten makes his heart race. He feels all flustered and can't help but think this has to be rock bottom. Nishino sees his hands are a bit dirty and offers him a disinfectant wipe, but he tells her it's not gonna cut it. After a while, he starts to feel like the world is just filthy, and getting close to people will mess him up too. That's why he keeps his distance and hangs out in his own chill spot. Out of the blue, Nishino realizes she left her textbook behind. When she asks him to share it, he tells her no, making her plead with him to let her use it. He goes on about how she'll get staph all over it, leaving her totally puzzled. She tells him it's just regular skin bacteria and to chill out. He's still convinced it's toxic though. She thinks he's being way too paranoid about stuff he can't see, trying to convince him there aren't any germs. But he sticks to his guns. He just doesn't want another scene like this morning. Suddenly, Sensei says it's time to pull out the textbooks. So Nishino moves his desk closer to hers, and they end up sharing a book. She thanks him, but he's not really into it. All he cares about is not getting contaminated. Just as Sensei tells everyone to flip the page, she messes up the edges turning it, which surprises him. He calls her out on it, saying she's leaving smudges on the pages, but she just keeps flipping and tells him to relax. So she starts marking the parts that'll be important for the test, but he's not a fan and tells her to knock it off. She leaves a bunch of sticky notes everywhere, but he's not into that either. Then he tells her to stop doodling on his textbook. Fed up, he takes his book back and says she can't have it anymore. When she keeps insisting, he explains she's basically wrecking the whole thing. That makes her apologize in a really cute way. He's cool with it but tells her the deal is she can't touch his stuff anymore. She says she can handle that and even compliments him, calling him the best. Meanwhile, he's thinking maybe he should just get a new textbook. They're sharing the book again, and as she tries to get closer, she gets all awkward, tucking her hair behind her ear. That kinda makes him wonder if she's too close for comfort. Feeling frustrated, he tells her to find someone else to borrow it from. This leaves her confused since he already said they could share. She then asks what's up and leans in even more, making him think she has no clue about personal space, just like this morning. It's making him question if she's really not that into him. He can't shake off the thought that what she did earlier was a bit off, like was it all on purpose just to get his attention? Because honestly, why else would she be right up next to him like that? Now she's practically shoulder to shoulder with him, and when she gets all touchy, he starts to blush. He notices she's blushing too, but here's the kicker. She's actually just fallen asleep and is drooling all over. He spots the thick drool about to land on the book and reacts quick, pulling the book away just in time. His reflexes are pretty impressive. That's when Nishino wakes up. She looks at him and says she wasn't actually asleep. He calls her a liar. At least the textbook is okay, and that's a relief. But then he glances over and sees his shirt is ruined because of a little bit of her drool. He's super annoyed now, wishing he could switch seats already. During lunch break, he pulls out his meal, and Nishino's surprised, wondering if that's really enough to fill him up. It looks like a meal for someone on a diet, like a girl trying to shed some pounds. But he explains it's got all the nutrients he needs. She starts to think maybe he just runs on low energy. When she takes out her lunch, he can't help but think hers is a little too big. She says it's normal since she has morning practice. He jokes about her having a solid metabolism. He also mentions how loud she can be, which she finds kind of rude, especially since he's getting all touchy. Meanwhile, he's a bit annoyed, worried she might catch something nasty like staph bacteria. Since he's still pretty fixated on germs, she starts playfully punching him, like giving him germ punches. But he's not having it. Out of nowhere, another classmate shows up, all energetic, calling her to grab a bite outside. She says yes and tells him he should eat more, but he just brushes her off, wanting to be left alone. He thinks food is just food and doesn't really care what it is. After the meal, he chills by himself for a bit. The next day at lunch, she's just staring at him again. He's thinking he just wants to finish his meal and get back to his book. Then, totally out of nowhere, she offers him her lunch, which throws him off. She says she still thinks he's not eating enough. He tries to act chill about it, saying it's not really a big deal. But when she opens her lunch, which looks perfect, he's taken aback. She tells him she felt bad for bothering him yesterday, and that he can totally have some if he wants. He reaches out for it but quickly backs off, saying he'll pass since he doesn't want to take any of hers. The thing is, he really can't eat food made by other people. She gets it because he's kind of OCD about that, but he brushes it off, saying he just likes things clean. He wonders why someone offering something nice means the other person has to accept it, so he feels bad about it. Then the girls from yesterday show up to hang out with Tamaki at lunchtime. They spot her lunch and are surprised to see that she's got 2 bentos. He notices she's got 2 bentos with her, and on the flip side, she's blushing like crazy. He can't help but think maybe one of them is for him, but then he figures who brings 2 whole lunches. Meanwhile, her classmates are asking if she made them herself, and he's totally thrown off by the idea that she actually did. She's feeling all flustered while her friends recognize the effort she put in. They even say it looks like there's a lot of love in there. Now they're all wanting to try her homemade food, which makes him curious. But he just can't shake the thought of eating something made by someone else's hands. She explains that these bentos are actually for an early meal. Her classmates are curious if she might have a crush, but she totally brushes it off. When he hears that, it kind of clicks for him. She talks about how she made a bunch of stuff and tells her classmates they can help themselves if they want. Meanwhile, he starts to wonder if that means anyone can actually take some. Out of nowhere, she turns around and sees him already staring at her. Then she pulls out a protein bar, saying it should be fine, and offers it to him. He's caught off guard and feels his cheeks heat up, not sure why this little gesture makes him feel so happy. As our guy is heading back from school, he can't shake the feeling that Nishino was all over him again today. It's kinda annoying and making him blush at the same time. He really hates when people touch him with dirty hands, so he's thinking that tomorrow he's just gonna tell her to back off. But then something catches his eye. Some students are checking out a cool view. Turns out it's her, totally rocking a super hot sporty outfit and all sweaty from the game. He notices her gear and figures out she's on a sports team. The other students are totally soaking in the view, thinking they're practically wearing nothing. Our guy is feeling disgusted by these little creeps. He doesn't see her like that at all. Meanwhile, she's killing it on the volleyball court, really putting in the effort. He's blushing a bit, but still insists he doesn't see her that way. Out of nowhere, she glances over and realizes he's been checking her out too. He tries to play it cool by looking away, but he can totally feel her staring him down. Out of nowhere, she starts running towards him, and he thinks, this can't be what it looks like. I wasn't checking her out. Then, just like that, he gets smacked in the face with a volleyball. Next thing he knows, he's got a bandage on his face, and she's asking if he's okay. She had told him to duck, but he completely missed that. She questions whether he was watching the volleyball team and pushes again if he's into it or something. He kinda snaps at her and says he was just lost in thought. She reads the mood though and tries to act chill about it. He thinks he should just tell her to drop it so she'll stop bugging him. Then she asks what he was thinking about while wiping the sweat off her forehead in a totally flirty way, which sends him into a total blush, and he even starts to bleed from his nose. In the end, he never gets around to saying anything. Next up is Shoko Tachibana, the top student in her class and an honor student. As usual, she's enjoying her culture by diving into her favorite book. While she reads her modern Japanese text and daydreams about food for her soul, the little joys in her day, something even more interesting grabs her attention. She catches the drama of the flirtation happening behind her between our guy and Nishino. Just the other day, while everyone is chaotic in class, they're arguing, and she's left wondering why they're so loud. It's hard for her to focus on her culture. She thinks maybe she should step in and say something. When she glances back, she sees Nishino leaning on his shoulder. He seems as carefree as ever, which only adds to her annoyance. And then, just like that, she's completely surprised to catch them goofing around again. Could they be dating? She has no proof, but she's determined to figure it out, so she decides to start keeping an eye on them. The next day, she checks the status. Using her little pocket mirror, she spots both of them like usual. Nishino nudges him, but he's not having it, saying he told her to stop. Watching this, she realizes Nishino is getting closer, starting with just her fingertips. It feels like something is starting to happen. Suddenly, another classmate chimes in nearby. He notices that Tachibana is shaking a lot and asks if she's okay or if she needs to use the bathroom. He casually tells her not to hold it in because it's not good for her. But she snaps back, yelling that it's not that and asking who he even is. Kobaya introduces himself, and they've been sitting next to each other for a week now. She brushes him off, saying she's trying to focus, and warns him not to talk. On the other side, Nishino mentions that something's different about her since yesterday and queries Nakayama if he can figure out what it is. He shrugs, saying how would he know? She replies that he's sitting right next to her, so he should notice, but he just brushes it off, not really buying it. Meanwhile, Tachibana is curious about what they're chatting about. As Nishino leans in closer, she wonders if it's some kind of heart stuff. Then he asks Nishino if she cut her bangs, but that's definitely not the right answer. Nishino tells him to really look at her. He's a bit hesitant but gives it a shot. Tachibana notices they're staring into each other's eyes. She's totally down for some flirting because she's just there to watch it all go down. But he brushes it off, making her mad since she thinks he's just being a coward. He asks if her eyelashes got longer, and she's like, super happy and asks if he noticed, or really, she's just teasing him now. Even Tachibana starts to get a bit dreamy about how they're looking at each other. Even though they're not touching, it feels like their hearts are already intertwined. Meanwhile, Kobaya asks her if she needs to run to the restroom, jokingly suggesting he could take her. She snaps back at him, telling him to shut up. Then Nishino decides to spill the beans about the mystery. She changed her shampoo, and that's it. He's not thrilled about it, wishing it was something more obvious. She expected him to catch on, knowing how observant he usually is, but he claims it's just too tricky to figure out. Nishino even offers to let him sniff it, which totally throws him off, and he quickly brushes it off. Tachibana can't help but feel they're having way too much fun over there. Nishino leans in closer and says he gets what she's saying, but she's persistent and asks him what scent it is. He thinks it might be flowers, but he's not sure. She nudges him to take a closer sniff. Meanwhile, Tachibana is on the edge of her seat, feeling the tension. Finally, he leans in to sniff her scent, and they both get a bit flustered. As things heat up, Tachibana is convinced they're about to kiss. She feels like she has to see it happen, so she quickly shuts her pocket mirror and drops her eraser, making it an excuse for a sneak peek. Just as she bends down to grab it and catch the moment, her head bumps into Kobaya, who was coming over to help. Their teacher notices the noise and tells them to settle down. On the side, Nishino whispers to our lad that Kobaya and Tachibana are getting a little too close for comfort, and she's curious if they're dating. He also wants to know, while teary-eyed Tachibana figures the observation needs to continue. Our guy's really not a fan of summer. The humidity is just too much for him, and all he wants to do is go home. He feels like it's way too easy to get dirty these days. Sensei says he's going to explain today's clean chores, and that has him thinking his day off is about to go down the drain. He thinks it makes more sense for the folks who actually swim to be the ones doing the cleaning. Meanwhile, Nishino is caught off guard because she forgot her gym clothes. He notices this with a cold vibe, making her wonder if he has got too, but then he tells her not to think about it since it's just his spare. That's when she totally begs for this once-in-a-lifetime wish. He can't believe she's actually using it for gym clothes. But then she gives him those cute, teary eyes, and it starts to melt him a bit. Somehow it works, and he ends up agreeing to give her the clothes. When she takes them, she looks super relieved and promises to return them after washing them. He reminds her to clean them and bring them back tomorrow. Just as he steps out of the room, he can't shake the feeling that what if she washes it and it still smells. She walks into the girls' changing room, and inside, Nishino changes clothes like usual with all the other girls, but he can't stop thinking about her changing. It's a bit off and even makes him blush. Out of nowhere, Nishino calls him over and says, "Look, I turned into Nakayama." He's totally surprised to see her actually wearing it. Noticing him makes her think he might have just seen a ghost or something. But totally blushing, he insists that's not the case. She suggests he should just jump in the pool to cool off, but he's not a fan of pools at all. Actually, he detests summer because he thinks bacteria just go crazy in all that heat. On the flip side, she loves summer since there are more ice cream flavors, watermelons, and all that good stuff. Then, surprisingly, she mentions he might even see her in a swimsuit, which totally catches him off guard. When she notices his reaction, she asks if he really wants to see. He denies it flat out, which makes her call him a liar. She can see his face is all flushed. As she pokes him again, he snaps back, saying that's exactly why he can't stand this season. Suddenly, Kobaya jumps in, telling him to quit goofing around and to lend a hand. Nakayama doesn't recognize him, so Kobaya introduces himself, pointing out he sits right in front of him. He insists he wasn't messing around, just that Nishino was being annoying, but Kobaya thinks it looked like something else. He notices they've been getting pretty close lately and wonders if that's how it seems. Nakayama starts to feel a bit embarrassed about it, and Kobaya picks up on that. Nakayama tries to explain that they're not close, not even sure why he feels flustered. This leaves Kobaya looking a bit confused. He snaps back at Kobaya, saying they're not close at all. Kobaya is thrown off and wonders what's up with him all of a sudden. He goes on about how she's always in his space, being loud, making a mess, and even snagged his gym clothes. Kobaya points out that's kind of what friends do. Just as he's about to ask if he actually likes Nishino, he cuts him off, insisting no way. He's super annoyed, thinking if he has to keep hanging around that whirlwind of a girl, he won't stay sane. He can't help but wonder if she really loves annoying people this much. Seriously, why doesn't she just go bug someone else? But then, out of nowhere, he glances over and sees her chatting with some random guy who points out that she has a piece of trash stuck in her hair. Nakayama watches the whole scene unfold. While that dude brushes something off her hair, they both start giggling over it, and he's left feeling a bit confused. The random guy asks her when she switched her name to Nakayama, and she explains that she just borrowed the shirt. As they keep chatting and having fun, he tries to remind himself that they're not really close, and he definitely doesn't want her getting too cozy with him. Still, he can't shake off why it bugs him so much. Then she spots Nakayama and calls him over, telling him to listen, saying she had a chipped crumb stuck in her hair. As she gets closer to touch him and explain what's going on, he swats her hand away and brushes her off, leaving her totally confused. He's clearly annoyed and tells her not to touch him. Realizing the vibe, she quickly apologizes and walks away. Outside, all the students are clearing out of the pool area, looking pretty worn out. Meanwhile, wearing a raincoat, he starts to wonder why he even said that in the first place. He can hear everyone else having a good time around him. On the flip side, Nishino's having a blast. She's pretty much soaked, and some onlookers are trying to sneak a peek at her underwear, guessing what color it might be. They're joking about how they love X-ray vision, and he overhears their chat, mentally calling them pervs. He figures that while most things can be scrubbed clean, some stuff just sticks around forever. While he's really getting into cleaning, he gets stuck on one spot, struggling to make it spotless and get rid of the grime. It's driving him crazy, but he keeps pushing for perfection. He adds a bit more water, and before he knows it, the whole pool area is spotless. He wraps up, wipes the sweat off his brow, and notices that all the other students are wiped out too. As he heads out, he catches Nishino's eye. Still, he can't shake off that feeling that no matter how hard he scrubs, it just won't come off. The next day, some of the students believe it's not a great day for Nakayama, since they're worried about him going all out scrubbing and disinfecting his desk like always. But he can't shake off the thoughts of Nishino hanging out with that random idiot. It's stuck in his head how he told her not to touch him, and he feels like that memory just won't fade. He's annoyed, wondering what's going on with him and why he's feeling this weird haze inside. He's all in on cleaning today and even tries to disinfect his classmates too. Before you know it, his whole desk is shining. After doing that, his classmates just stare at him, totally puzzled. Sitting at his desk, he tries to act normal and decides to keep things simple. He thinks about how maybe he was better off just chilling in his own world by himself. If he stays out of everyone's way, he figures he won't get messed up or let anyone in. Just then, Nishino shows up and says good morning. He notices the lack of her usual upbeat energy while she hands back his gym uniform. She compliments him, and as he takes it all in, he can't help but wonder why she seems a bit down today. After that, she just kind of stares at him for a sec. He can't shake off how different she feels lately and asks what's going on. But she just brushes it off and heads to her seat, acting all quiet. It totally catches him off guard, and he's left wondering where her usual annoying self went. He starts thinking back to yesterday when he told her not to touch him and wonders if she's still upset about it. Maybe she feels hurt. He thinks he should probably apologize, brainstorming ways to bring it up. Then he figures he should make it up to her, so he offers her some gummies, and she half accepts. She takes one and munches on it. But when he offers more, she plays it cool and says she's good. He's shocked she only took one. After this, she quiets down and seems really bummed out, which makes him think why she looks even less lively now. After a while, he realizes it's tough to talk to her. During the break, she even eats less than she normally would. He can't shake the thought that she's only having jelly today. She decides to go for a swim despite her friends telling her to skip it and take it easy. And that makes him wonder if things are really that serious. Besides the swimming, he just hangs around. He can't help but feel like it's all his fault. Looking at his hand, he keeps recalling how down she looked. He wonders if he should say something before the day wraps up, or if maybe she'll bounce back tomorrow. Out of nowhere, Nishino pops up from the pool, dripping wet and splashing water everywhere. He spots her getting out of the water, adjusting her swimsuit a bit, and she seems pretty down. He decides he needs to apologize, so he hangs around the corridor, and when she finally shows up, he calls her over. She tells her friends to head on without her and walks over, asking what's up. He brings up what happened yesterday and says he really feels bad about it. That catches her attention. He repeats that he feels really sorry. He talks about that moment when he told her not to touch him. He knows it's late, but he really feels bad about it. He's okay with things staying the same. When she hears this, she gets happy and says she wasn't bothered at all, which throws him off a bit. Hearing that she isn't bothered makes him think he might have been too harsh, and that's why she seemed down. But she's not really getting it. She realizes he's not feeling great because of the heat. When she shares this, he asks why she seems so down today. She spills that she has a huge canker sore, explaining that she overdid it while cleaning the pool yesterday and the exhaustion really hit her, which freaks him out a bit. Then she admits she also hurt her butt when she slipped, and it's been sore ever since. Just hearing about her butt makes him feel awkward. She continues by saying her mouth hurts too much to eat, and her butt hurts too much to sit, so today has just been rough. Meanwhile, he's totally confused. She wonders if she's been acting cold, while he just thinks this whole situation is kind of silly. Noticing he seemed worried about her, she decides to act casual. With a playful tone, she asked if he thought their relationship was going downhill, but he quickly said no. She laughs it off, saying she'd keep bugging him like always. Trying to tease him a bit, she mentions that he still isn't cool with any touching, and he totally panics. Keeping her vibe upbeat, she mentions it'll be lonely if there is a distance between them. He agrees, saying she's totally right. She tells him to catch her in class later. Just as he's watching, her foot slips on some water, and she starts to fall back. It catches him off guard, and he quickly grabs her, stopping her from hitting the ground. While he's holding her, she gives his hand a light squeeze, making her cheeks turn pink. He's completely flustered too, feeling his own face warm up. Right away, he pulls back, freaking out and apologizing. She teases him, asking if he thinks he's the only one allowed to touch her, but he insists it was just an accident. Still, she thanks him cheerfully, leaving him with a blush that just won't fade. Our guy is totally stressed out because Nishino was really going in on him, but she's got it all figured out, telling him to hang in there. He can't help but think this isn't how things are supposed to go, and he wonders why it always ends up like this. Earlier, Nishino and her friends were just hanging out and chatting. They were checking out the lines on Nishino's palm, and it turns out she has the lucky partner lines, which means she's the type to lift everyone's spirits. She notices it and thinks it's kind of cool, but as he tunes into their palm reading, he realizes he thinks it's a total waste of time. Plus, they're being super noisy on top of it all. Nishino catches him checking them out. He quickly turns away, trying to act casual like he's got this don't talk to me vibe going on. But then she hops up to him and asks if he wants her to read, which totally catches him off guard. He brushes it off, but she insists he looks like he wants to join in. Honestly, he was just paying attention because she was being so loud, and he gets that. Still, she tells him to let her borrow his hand, and that makes him wonder if she's actually decent. His friend starts to wonder if he washes his hands so much that the lines might just be worn away. It bothers him because he feels like they're making fun of him. Nishino jumps in to back him up, saying it's totally not true and bets his lines are all neat and straight like someone drew them with a ruler. When he realizes this isn't helping, he just stretches out his hand and says, if she wants to see it that badly, he's cool with it. This surprises her too. He still insists she shouldn't touch it, but she decides to go for it anyway. She gets really close to his hand, checking out the lines while breathing super heavily, which makes him pull back because her breathing is kind of loud. That annoys her, and she snaps at him, saying she hasn't even touched him yet. He responds that her breath particles are all over his hand, which makes her wonder if he's afraid of invisible stuff. That gets him fired up, and he tells her to just forget the palm reading. Out of nowhere, Kobaya jumps in, asking what's up with the palm reading. Nishino notices him right away. He introduces himself and then asks why she doesn't read his hand too. She totally goes for it, but that doesn't stop our guy from looking over his shoulder, wondering if she's into holding another guy's hand. He starts feeling pretty uneasy about it. After a while, he jumps in wearing some clear gloves, telling Nishino he's sorry for the wait. She raises an eyebrow at the gloves. Just when Kobaya asks what about him, our guy brushes it off and tells him to just look it up online. He's thinking about why he didn't do this sooner. It makes sense because the gloves are antibacterial, so there won't be any direct contact to worry about. When she reaches out to touch his hand, he's caught off guard and blushes. He can't shake off that feeling. On the flip side, she's checking out the lines on his hand and getting really into it. But he's kind of feeling off and super awkward about the whole thing. She notices he seems bothered, and surprisingly, he admits he hates it. She quickly cuts him off, saying she's not even touching him directly, and that it's all good. But honestly, it's not about the touching this time. He's just feeling really strange and ticklish, so he tries to explain that she's pressing too hard. She asks him to hang in there. She's really gripping his hand, trying to figure out the lines, but it's still tough to spot them. Out of nowhere, he starts shaking as she pokes around hard. She tells him to chill, saying she's almost got it. She says it's there. While trying really hard, she ends up tearing off the glove. It's clear she's found the creepy line, which makes her friends wonder when palm reading got this intense. She asks if he got that, but even through the plastic, it's not good. She apologizes and mentions it should be the right hand, asking to give it another shot, but he's feeling all flustered and just brushes it off, not really buying it.
Here I am, know it's been a while.